What it do, Six Head Crew? Thank you for coming to my video. My day is better because it has you. So, for my first video, I decided to just do some eyes because that's like the only thing I'm wanting to do at the moment. And I just wanted to discuss something since I'm not that great at makeup. I am good at talking about things. So, what I'm going to talk about today is the gaming triangle. What am I talking about? Tanks, healers, and DPS. Well, let's get into this. Alright, so to start us off, first I'm going to lay down my foundation on my eyes so that I can, just have something so it's not staining my skin. This is actually going to be a new technique for me where I'm going to try this. You're here for my experimentation. I think I did a ton right now, so this is going to be fun. All right, so for those who don't know, oh my god, what did I do? Oh god, I messed up. All right, I don't know how to do that, and I won't do that in the future. So let's put this down here and say something. I'm gonna take my applicator sponge, and just blot it on my eye because I can barely see. So the gaming triangle is with tanks, healers, and DPS. What I want to talk about is how for some games, such as MMOs, it's fine because in PvE, it's hard to control enemy aggro, but in other games, like PvP games, it's kind of hard to do that without following certain statistics. So what I'm going to do is talk about the roles and whether or not they're relevant in certain things. My main topics and games of discussion are going to be Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, excuse me. Final Fantasy XIV, D&D, and games such as Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, and other similar games. All right, let's blend here to match the foundation so it has a nice transition way so I don't have a big red head and a tan, eyes, which are going to be a different color anyway. So, oh, yeah. I just love this feeling of smacking my face with this. Oh God, I got some of my. Oh God, oh no, I got some of my Morphe line on my waterline. Oh, I'm gonna be blinking all day now. It started already. With tanks, their role is the HP sink. And the HP stands for health points. And how that works is for HP, the total amount of the team, where the tank would have an exponential amount compared to the rest of the team so that it can withstand drawing the focus of the opponent, which is also called aggro generation. And for my first color, I wanted to do a blue. And I'm going to first start with my Wet n Wild Poster Child 737A palette, which admittedly I really like. Okay, so first I'm going to just do a little wing. To maintain aggro, a good tank needs to be able to somehow gain attention of the enemy so as to distract from the more fragile teammates, especially such as the healer that I mentioned before. All right, that's not bad. I just hit the wrong part of my eye. I forgot to tap it out. So for aggro generation in PvE games, that's easy. Typically, it has just like some kind of ability that is in either an AOE move. AOE stands for. AOE stands for area of effect, whereas it can also be just a status condition where you generate more aggro just by hitting enemies that existing, which is also And that one is in Final Fantasy XIV. The first one that I mentioned used to be, and there are some techniques like provoke. That is a standard a standard Final Fantasy move that has been around. Provoke has been around for a long time with different names. Okay, got that corner of that. All right, and let's do this eye. What Provoke does is provide an extremely high aggro generation, or just forces an opponent to focus on them. Now, if you cause an opponent to focus on you, multiple opponents to focus on you, you will probably die pretty quickly unless, like I said with tanks, you have a great amount of HP and typically defenses. In MMOs, these moves are called cooldowns, where, well, when you use them, they're on a higher cooldown than the typical global cooldown. And a global cooldown is when you use a move, all moves sharing that same cooldown will go through the same cycle. Typically, it's like 2.5 seconds to 3. And so let's check this. Okay, it's pretty even. Just gotta pigment it a bit more. And so with that, you need to be able to generate threat aggro, which is like aggression, and be able to maintain your be able to stay alive. Great help with that is with a healer. All right, so now that I finished that, now let's talk about healers. Healers, and for my healer color, I'm going to do the same thing but a green. This one right here. And I tapped it out. All right, so then let's do the inner corner right here and the edge. And just blend that out right there. Perfect. Ooh, actually, make this a straight line. So healers, what they do is they do HP maintenance with a health pool maintenance, or health points maintenance. But in this case, it is the full health pool that they're trying to keep upwards. And there are 2 types that you can do that with. There is proactive healing, which is cases such as shields and the like, or including buffs that lower damage or do a reactionary kind of damage. Like in League of Legends, there's a character, I believe, I don't know if they fixed it or not. I'm gonna move this camera slightly down. Perfect. In League of Legends, I believe that there was a character, I think it's the tree, the nice tree, that he puts a bubble around you, and after a period of time, you gain that HP back. You gain that HP. All right, and just to blend it in to show the relationship. Healers, since tanks are absorbing so much HP, healers typically focus on tanks to be able to keep them alive, while also somewhat trying to keep DPS alive. DPS, the reason why we'll keep them alive will be discussed once I finish my eyes. All right, perfect. In fact, to go more into why healers and tanks are great together and important, and put it right there. Sorry, just gotta concentrate on this part. The reason why healers and tanks are important together is that you keep the enemy threat away from you, while also being able to keep that keep the thing generating all the threat alive. Another type of healer is the reactive healer. A reactive healer is kind of like the white, I'll say the white mage, in that when your HP drops, they'll be there to make sure, they'll be there to like snap your HPs back to normal. Or, they respond to damage after the fact. The proactive healer responds to damage before the fact. So in Final Fantasy XIV, like I said, I'll be mentioning that, there are characters with abilities that provide shields. Those are proactive healers. And that is Nocturnal Sect, Astrologian, and also the Scholar. They provide shields beforehand. It's great to throw it on before the tank gets generation so that you do not gain the aggro of the enemy, but then they'll be able to survive an enemy attack after that. All right. And it keeps your tank alive because they'll be able to throw in their cooldowns, their defensive cooldowns, because there are offensive cooldowns, which are just moves that, you know, do damage. Oh, it's lower. I thought I did it lower than that. All right. All right. All right, so I'll just do right here and do that. All right, here's hoping red shows up. All right, so what you're trying to do is, for the most part, trying to end the dungeon as fast as possible, because dying takes time to either revive or it takes more time to do it because you're doing less damage output. And something to help the damage output is the DPS roll. That enhances the speed of which the dungeon goes by. Technically, if you want to go into it, it is the unnecessary roll, because healers and tanks do in fact put out damage, or are supposed to anyway, while the dungeon is going. And the dungeon, if you have a roll that's specifically for doing damage, that makes it go even faster. And you would just want to blend that in. And I'm still using the same I'm still using the same palette, the red one. And I'm going to actually change this up with a different red later on to blend that in right there. And red and green don't really blend that well, but I'll try it anyway. Kind of look like I have a bruised eye, but I also kind of like the triangle. And so to speed up the dungeon, what they do is output as much damage as possible. Typically these characters or these rolls have increased potency, which is a word for strength of the move, per ability. Okay, increased potency. Will have increased potency, or they will have dots, which is short for damage over time. Sorry, just watery eye. Okay. Let's see, what else can we do? Let's try really hard to get that red in there. Okay, good. There we go. Cover that up. Damage over time is passive damage because it's a one-time application, or like the status is a one-time application, and it's happening in the background while you're doing other things. There are other types of damage, which I think I'm going to do in a different video of. Okay, so I have the opinion of the Triad is only relevant in PvE games, except for stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, because you can actually have a team with no tank but still do well in battles because you have enough support. You could have the support role that does buffs and debuffs but doesn't do direct healing, or or is extreme the damage, or they do a mix of DPS with light healing or light buffs, something like that. All right, and so just to top this off, I'm going to do, it's not the pink, it's the peach more color right here, just to blend it into my eye color. Oh, it's a weird combination, but it kind of works. So just so it fades out to it, and then do another scoop right there. And so and so a good support, what they do is, like in Overwatch, that's a popular game. In Overwatch, there are characters who have support moves, such as, or used to have support moves and used to be support roles, such as Symmetra. what she did was she provided shields, and the teleporters also support because it was, while not direct healing, it is a reactive heal in that once you're, it's not a reactive heal, but it's a reactive ability in that when you die, you can go back to a faster spot. But now it's more used as a more active damaging in that you move your team that is already there away to another spot. So for support, you can have a character that provides buffs, which enhance your team's output of damage or survivability. Come on, geez, that is a lot of Fallout. Or you can have a character that does debuffs, which reduces your opponent's attack, increases weaknesses, or reduces their defenses. And I think I just effed up, so what I'm going to do is reapply. All right, and to blend that in, I'm going to use my applicator. A good support can increase, well, somehow make the battle go fast. The main point is to try to reduce risk while also increasing what is done to the opponent. That's a support role. And what you can do is, like in Mass Effect, everything is essentially a DPS character except for a couple classes. Everything has a DPS, but it has a kit catered towards some kind of way. Like, while there is a tank-ish character, they don't have a massive way to generate aggro. Generate threat or aggro, except for by just hitting the opponent as hard as they can and being as close to the opponent as they can. Because that causes AI to focus you occasionally. It's not guaranteed. Because I've had matches where I am right up in the opponent's face, but they're just hitting my friend with hitting my friend's character as much as they can. And what I'm doing is my Wet n Wild retractable brow pencil. I'm using the brush side to get rid of the foundation that got in my mustache. Scratchy. And also my eyebrows. I'm not going to do my brows today. There we go. Yep. All right. And so for threat generation, you have to just do as much as you can, because some of them are just, oh, you did this much damage to me, so then now I have to focus because you're the actual threat. That's why sometimes DPS roles in games without a tank's aggro generation abilities, whether it's a passive or a status or an ability. Yeah, passive, a status, or an ability. What they can be focused down and have to hide, like, just so that they don't get murked by the enemy. All right, now that I have my makeup, I'm just gonna wipe out this part. Oh wow, this actually smells really good. So this is the, I like it. This is the Signature Care Quality Guaranteed Makeup Removing Cleansing Towelettes. There is no said scent. Key ingredient, main ingredient is water and glycerin. Ingredients. All right, and so when your threat generation is too high, you get focused by the enemy, and then you have to hide and hope that your allies can get rid of the enemy. And like in Dungeons and Dragons, where it's up to the DM on who gets attacked by what. DM stands for Dungeon Master, by the way. And since it can be since it's like, oh, you're the nearest opponent, I'm going to focus you down. There are some abilities in Dungeons and Dragons where you can grab the opponent's attention, but sometimes like the spells once your ally, wow, that is a big difference. Once your ally uses a hostile ability, or does something that would generate threat, like attacking them or putting a status ailment on them, except for maybe like sleep, if it succeeds, it would break, and so then you would have to focus on it just however the DM feels that the character would do, because it's not an AI. It follows like personality of the character maybe, or something like that. Gosh, this smells really good, unlike my previous makeup removers. Wow, this is good. And so then you can have a team where I was in a group where there was no tank. It was all 4 characters were support. And the DM eventually just, at first he tried to cater to us, but then what he did was he just made scenarios and was like, I just want to see where this goes, because you guys were very creative. And we literally fought a battle where I was taking the most damage as a satyr bard with negative attack, negative strength, and I was ramming with my horn while also singing, because you can actually, depending on how flexible your dungeon master is, they will allow you to maintain however you're casting your spell as long as it fits in the situation. Because if you are able to, like, say, if you're a character that's singing, then you can battle, because hey, I know that you can sing and fight at the same time, because I've had to do it. Well, not actual fighting, but choreographed. But I had to concentrate, and because I've been in musicals. You guys are just watching me clean my face. That's so funny. But I'm also trying to shape it. I've been in musicals, so then I know that you can sing and do something at the same time. So, as long as they're however they fit you. But so you can have, let's see, this one's going to have a rogue, a fighter, and I chose Warlock because even though I was a fighter that was going to be the tank, and then our bard left, so then I was going to be paladin. I was just like, you don't need to. You don't need the freaking, you don't need a tank. You don't. I've had battles where you don't need a tank because there's no aggro focus. And this is going to be starting from level 1 campaign, so these things aren't huge threats. And you can also summon, and that could be your tank. I mean, summons can last an X amount of time, depending on what you summon. It could also be a DPS type of summon, it could be a healing type of summon. Just depends on how you chose to summon. And my character is going to be, while a DPS, it's going to be a support type of DPS. So I'm going to be providing moves that will keep us alive while they kill, because my character is based around being a supportive, helpful person. So now, to enhance the red, what I'm going to do is use my blushing pink, LA Colors blushing pink, 37 months. Oh, 36 months, okay. So now what I'm going to be doing is using my LA Colors blush pink, and what I'm going to use is it's marked as lid, and I'm going to remove this applicator. It's going to be this one, the center pink one that's not metallic. First I'm going to rub off my brush. All right, so now to do this, now DPS, like I said before, while DPS are the quote-unquote unimportant and not absolutely necessary, this is working so well, not absolutely necessary role, they really do help severely in speed of dungeon clearing. So take it with a grain of salt on usefulness, but when you are trying to use speed for clearing, DPS are very, very, very important. While if you're trying to, it's a personal thing how you want to treat your characters, like how you want to play. I personally love being support. I love it so much. Typically, I'm not that toxic, but when someone's mean to me in a game, I go, okay, no, sure, come on, Betty, let's do this. Bad. Oh, this blue is so deep. I love it. All right, there we go. And now just to reapply to this side. All right. A tip to do, I just messed up my own tip, but what I usually do is go light to dark. But, you know, I fudged that real quick, and let's see the results. Oh, gosh, it's so beautiful. Oh, look at that. It's gorgeous. Sorry, I'm just looking at myself. Oh, to have self-confidence is wonderful. Oh, God, it's actually, I love the color. And then put some more up here just to match it. All right. I put it in the wrong spot. What I'm doing is adding more to the pink. That blue got mixed in. Whoops! But just don't be toxic. There's no need. I do apologize to my other teammates about being toxic, but not to the jerk who was saying that they're the most important and that I don't matter. Because you matter. All right, this isn't the end of the look because this needs to get brighter because I think I need to just like do some, I don't want to keep going down. The triangle, ooh, fell out, let's go, okay. Some sprayed onto my face. Oh man, I got it. Follows gun. Just know your role, and the Triad is just a great, well, it's a great base. It is a great base to start out with gaming. What you should just really do is just figure out how to go to fill in that green in. You just need to figure out what fits you and why you like doing it. And look at that blend process. Get rid of that purple, it's gone. Figure out how you do you. And I think what I'm going to do is do, for the final touches on my red part, because it's not showing up like I wanted it to, I'm going to get this applicator. There we go. Sorry, I was looking for it with my no glasses having ass. Alright, getting a little applicator on my hot and pink, blushing pink, sorry. Let's see if this works. All you need to do is figure out how to use the role properly because each game uses the roles differently. And with that, I just want to say thank you for showing up, and here's the look. Thank you for showing up, and I shall try my best to get better in the future about the speed and the depth of my conversations. But thank you very much. I'm so happy that I finally have this ring light. As you can see, look into my eyes. So, Six Head Crew, thank you for coming. Watch my other videos because I do have like Overwatch and Apex Legends and other games. And just also shout out to Miss Venus Soleil for giving me the courage to do this. Once I find a brighter red, or maybe I could try that red acrylic paint and base it off of that, or I'll just use the acrylic paint, sorry. Or I'll just use some other white base and be able to just like put it on top because it blends way too well with my skin. You all have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. And just remember, all those mean things that you say to yourself is your brain lying to you and just being mean. Like, you are important. You do deserve to be loved. Just know that, all right? You are important. You deserve to be loved. If you think you're not worthy of love, you're wrong. You are wrong. Love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.